Imagine you were born on an island that most people can't find on a map. Your language isn't French, your blood isn't aristocratic. Your family has no wealth, no connections, no influence. The kids at school make fun of your accent. The teachers think you're weird and withdrawn. No one, absolutely no one, sees you as a future emperor. But in 30 years, kings will kneel before you, armies of millions of soldiers will die at your word. The Pope will come, especially from Rome, to crown you, and you will take the crown straight from his hands and place it on your own head. Because no one in this world gave you your power. You took it yourself. This is the story of a man who started with nothing and conquered everything. This is the story of the greatest purist in human history. This is your whole life. Napoleon Bonaparte. Stranger. The island of Corsica, the Mediterranean Sea. You are born in August, the hottest month of the year. Your father, Carlo Bonaparte, is a minor nobleman, neither rich nor influential, but ambitious. He wants a better life for his children. Your mother, Letizia, is a woman of iron. She gives birth to 13 children, 8 of whom survive. She never complains, never cries, never gives up. It is from her that you will inherit the most important thing, an unbending will. Ooh. Corsica is your homeland, but it has only just become French. Just a year before you were born, Goya sold the island to France. You are 9 years old when your father sends you to France to the military school in Brienne. You remember this day all your life. You stand at the school gates alone, without friends, without a language. All around you are the children of French aristocrats in beautiful uniforms. They look at you like a village stranger, and they are right. You are an outsider. The first days are real torture. You don't understand half of what your teachers say. Your classmates mock your accent, calling you little Italian, calling you straw nose for the Corsican pronunciation of your own last name. Another boy in your place would have cried, given up, asked to go home. But you're not that other boy. You shut up, you observe, you study. While others play and chat, you sit in the library. You read about Alexander the Great, who at your age was already commanding armies. You read about Julius Caesar, who started with nothing and became the ruler of Rome. You read about the great generals of antiquity and memorize every one of their battles. Math is your favorite subject. It has no accent, no social class. Either you solve a problem, or you don't, and you always do. Your teachers notice your intelligence, but they also see your character. Cold, hard, lonely. You're not looking for friends, you're looking for knowledge. There's a famous story from your childhood. One winter, there was a snowball fight between classes at school. While others were just throwing snowballs and laughing, you took command. Positioned your men, built snow fortifications, and organized the attack. Your squad routed all the others. You're 11 years old, and you're already thinking like a commander. At 15, you transfer to the Paris Military Academy. Paris overwhelms you. Glitter, luxury, wealth, the Palace of Versailles, aristocrats in silk and gold, and you, a boy from Corsica, in a modest uniform. But you don't look at all this with envy. You look with cold calculation. All this can be won, you think. You just need to know how. At 16, you graduate from the academy, top of your class in mathematics and artillery. You are enlisted in an artillery regiment in the French army. Your salary is just over 100 lira a month. It's barely enough for food and room. But you don't think about the money. You think about what lies ahead. A little boy with a Corsican accent, laughed at school, stands on the threshold of the greatest career in history. He just doesn't know it yet. No, he knows. He's always known. The year is 1780. France is burning. Revolution. King Louis XIV is arrested. Aristocrats are dragged to the guillotine. There is blood and chaos in the streets. The old world is crumbling. The new one has not yet been built. You are 20 years old. You are a young artillery officer. You look at the revolution not with fear, but with interest. In this chaos, you see opportunity. In old France, the path to the top was closed to people like you. Only aristocrats became generals. Only the rich made a career, but the revolution has broken all the old rules. Now the smartest, the bravest, the most talented wins. And this is you. Your first moment of glory comes in 1793, Toulon, port city in the south of France. The English fleet has occupied the city and is supporting the royalists, opponents of the revolution. The French army has been trying to recapture Toulon for several months without success. The commanders don't know what to do. You're 24 years old. You come up with a plan. The other officers look at you skeptically. Who are you? Young, unknown, a Corsican. But your plan is brilliant. You say, there is no need to storm the city frontally. We must capture the fort on the hill, and the English ships will leave the harbor on their own. Without a fleet, the city is doomed. They listen to you, reluctantly, but they listen. Storming the fort is hell. Bullets whistle from all sides. Several horses are killed under you. You yourself are wounded in the leg with a bayonet. You do not notice. You are the first to burst onto the walls of the fort. Your soldiers follow you. The fort is taken. The English ships leave. Toulon surrenders. The next day, you are promoted to brigadier general. You are 24 years old. Paris begins to pronounce your name. But real glory comes in 1796. You are appointed to command the Italian army. When you arrive to take command, your soldiers are shocked. They expected a seasoned veteran, but in front of them stands a young, thin man, 6 feet tall. The generals are behind you. They look at each other and smirk, but you look them in the eye and they fall silent. There's something in your gaze that makes people fall silent. Your army is a disaster. 30,000 men, hungry, naked, without boots. Many haven't received pay for months. Morale is at zero. You gather them together and say words that will go down in history. Soldiers, hungry and naked. The government owes you much, but can give you nothing. Your patience and courage bring you honor, but bring neither glory nor profit. I will lead you to the most fertile plains in the world. Rich provinces, great cities, all will be at your mercy. There you will find honor, glory, and wealth. Silence. And then the roar of 30,000 throats. And you lead them. Over the next 12 months, 14 major battles, 14 victories in a row, one after another. Montenot, Melissimo, Lodi, Costiglione, Arkel, Rivali. The Austrian generals don't understand what's happening. You fight differently. While other generals slowly maneuver and wait, you attack. While others think for weeks, you decide in hours. You divide the enemy army and strike piecemeal. Quickly, unexpectedly, mercilessly. There's one battle you'll remember all your life. The Arkel Bridge. Your troops spend 3 days trying to cross the bridge under deadly Austrian fire. 3 days and nothing. On the 4th day, you take up the banner and are the first to cross the bridge under fire. Your soldiers are behind you. Later, they'll ask you why you risked your lives. You'll answer simply, soldiers don't follow a general who commands from afar. They follow the one who walks in front. By the end of the Italian campaign, you control all of northern Italy. Austria signs peace on your terms. You send to Paris entire convoys laden with works of art and gold. France rejoices. The newspapers write only about you. Ordinary people hang your portraits in their homes. You are 27 years old, and you are the most famous man in France. But you are already looking further to the east, to the south, to the whole world. The dream of the East. The year is 1798. You are 28 years old. You stand at the window of your Parisian mansion and look at the map of the world. Europe is almost in your hands, but this is not enough. You think of Alexander the Great, your idol since childhood. Alexander marched east. Alexander dreamed of a world empire. You want the same, and you have a plan. Egypt, the ancient land, is the key to the east. To capture Egypt means to threaten British possessions in India, to bring England to its knees, to become the master of 2 continents. The Directory, the French government, willingly lets you go. You are becoming too popular, too dangerous. Let him go. 38,000 soldiers, 400 ships, and that's the main thing. 167 scientists, mathematicians, historians, artists, naturalists, engineers. Because you don't just want to conquer Egypt, you want to know it. You want to uncover the secrets of an ancient civilization. The fleet secretly leaves Toulon in May 1798. English Admiral Nelson searches for you throughout the Mediterranean and doesn't find you. You land in Alexandria. Egypt greets you with merciless heat. 50 degrees Celsius heat, desert, sandstorms. Your soldiers, accustomed to the European climate, suffer. But the first big battle, the Battle of the Pyramids, is yours. The Egyptian Mamluk cavalry rushes at you. Magnificent warriors in gilded armor on Arabian horses. They are magnificent and useless against your cannons and squares. Before the battle, you utter the famous words. Soldiers, 40 centuries look down on you from the heights of these pyramids. The battle lasts a few hours. The Mamluks are routed. Cairo is yours. But then disaster strikes. English Admiral Nelson finds your fleet in Aboukir Bay and destroys it completely. 300 ships burn or sink. Your army is cut off from France. 38,000 people are trapped on a foreign continent. Another general would panic and surrender. You don't. You turn the trap into a laboratory. Your scientists work tirelessly. They describe Egyptian monuments, sketch hieroglyphs, study nature. Under the Rosetta Stone, they find the famous stone, the key to deciphering Egyptian hieroglyphs. This discovery will revolutionize historical science. You personally tour the pyramids, descend into the tombs, ask questions. You alone enter the pharaoh's chamber in the Great Pyramid. What did you see there? You will never tell anyone. In between, you try to negotiate with the local population. You learn a few Arabic words. You respect Islam. You don't destroy mosques. You want the Egyptians to accept you not as a conqueror, but as a liberator from the Ottoman. The campaign in Syria ends in failure. Acre doesn't fall. The plague mows down your soldiers. There are no reinforcements. In 1799, you make a decision. You leave the army. A secret. At night, on a small ship, you return to France. Your officers are shocked. Is this cowardice? Betrayal? No, it's calculation. France is in crisis. The government is weak. The country needs a strong leader, and you know that you are that leader. When your ship docks on the shores of France, you are greeted as a hero. People don't know about the failure of the Egyptian campaign. They know only about victories. They shout your name. The newspapers no longer write about you as a general. They write about you as the savior of the nation. And you smile, because everything is going according to plan. 3 months after your return, a coup d'état. The 18th Brumaire on the French calendar. You enter the hall of the Legislative Assembly with soldiers. The deputies shout, threaten, call you a traitor. You stand calmly. You wait. Then your brother Lucien, the president of the Assembly, declares the dissolution. That's it. Legitimate power is no longer illegitimate. The next day, France wakes up with a new government, 3 consuls, and the first of them is you, the first consul of the French Republic, Napoleon Bonaparte. Power is in your hands. The year is 1804, December, Paris. In 5 years, you have changed France beyond recognition. You stopped the revolutionary chaos, restored order. You signed peace with Austria, made peace with the Church, came to an agreement with England. For the first time in 10 years, the French live without war. But most importantly, you created what France will be to be proud of in 200 years. The Napoleonic Code. Before you, France had more than 300 different legal systems. Each region had its own rules, its own courts, its own justice. The rich always triumphed over the poor. The aristocrat was always above the commoner. You destroy this. You gather the best lawyers in the country. You participate in the meetings yourself. And this is informality. You argue. You ask alimundum. Questions. You demand clarity. The result is a code of laws that will change the world. Equality of all citizens before the law, regardless of birth, freedom of religion, the right to private property, a secular state, a secular court, secular education. These principles are the foundation of modern civilization. The Napoleonic Code is in effect today in France, Belgium, Quebec, Louisiana, and dozens of other places. You also create the Bank of France, which still exists today. You build roads across the country, bridges, canals. You open lyceums, public schools for all the children of the country. You create an award system, the Order of Honor Legion, which still exists. In 5 years, you do more than previous kings did in 50. And here it is, 184 years ago, Notre Dame Cathedral, the most solemn day in the history of France. Thousands of people fill the streets. Bells ring throughout the city. Inside the cathedral is the whole world of Europe. Marshals, ministers, ambassadors of the powers, and Pope Pius VII, who has come especially from Rome. The last time the Pope crowned an emperor was 800 years ago. Charlemagne, in this same city. You enter the cathedral to the sounds of the organ. You are wearing a purple robe trimmed with ermine. Next to you is your wife, Josephine. The beauty, your love, your pain. The ceremony lasts several hours. Prayers, chants, solemn vows. And then, the main moment. The Pope takes the crown. He is preparing to place it on your head, but you step forward. You take the crown from the Pope's hands, and you put it on yourself. Thou freezes. This is not a mistake. This is not an accident. This is a message. A message to God, to the Pope, to kings, to the whole world. No one gave me this power. Not God, not the church, not fate. I took it myself, with my mind, my will, my blood. The Pope looks at you, is silent, but does not object. Then you put the crown on Josephine's head with your own hands. This is your gesture of tenderness in the midst of triumph. Napoleon I, Emperor of the French. At this moment you think of the boy and the Scotsman, about the boy who was laughed at school, about the boy who read books about Alexander the Great and dreamed of great things. This boy stands now in the greatest cathedral in the world, with a crown on his head. You allow yourself to smile for only a second, because there is still so much work ahead. Europe is not all yours yet. The year is 1807. You are 38 years old. Odd. Stop, look at the map of Europe. France is the core of your empire, but this is just the beginning. Spain is under your brother Joseph. Italy is under your brother Louis. Holland is also under Louis. Then Rome will get Westphalia. Poland is your Duchy of Warsaw. Austria is defeated and humiliated, paying tribute. Russia is crushed at the Battle of Jena in one day. Russia signed peace and tells it and calls you an ally. Under your direct or indirect control are more than 70 million people. That's more than half the population of Europe. But how did you achieve this? Austerlitz, December 1805. This is your greatest battle, your masterpiece. Moscow masterpiece. Against you are the combined armies of Russia and Austria. 80,000 men. You have 73,000. You are outnumbered. You study the terrain for several days. You see everything. The rise of the percent heights, the frozen ponds on the flanks, and, most importantly, the arrogance of the Allied commanders. They think you are weak. They see that you have left your right flank almost open. They think you are retreating, that you are afraid. It is a trap, and they are falling into it. The Allies attack your right flank with all their forces, precisely where you are weak. And at that moment, you strike at the center where they left. Marshal Soult, with 4 divisions, breaks into the Pratzen Heights. The Allied army is cut in half. Panic, flight, rout. The Austrians are running across the frozen ponds. You order the cannons to fire on the ice. The ice cracks. Thousands of people go underwater. The Battle of Austerlitz lasts 9 hours. The result is 36,000 killed and captured among allies. You have 9,000. The Austrian Emperor Franz asks for peace. Only yesterday he was your enemy. Today he stands before you with his hat in his hand. You receive him kindly. You are magnanimous in victory. You offer peace on reasonable terms because you need order, not eternal war. Agenda 1806. Prussia. The Prussian army was considered the best in Europe since the time of Frederick the Great. The Prussian officers were arrogant and self-confident. You defeated them in one day. The Prussian king fled to the east. Berlin opened its gates to you without a fight. You rode into the capital of Prussia on horseback. Then you went to the grave of Frederick the Great, took off your hat, stood silently, and said to your marshals, "If he were alive, we would not be here." This says a lot about you. You know how to respect those who were worthy of respect. Tilsit, 1807, meeting with the Russian Tsar Alexander I tug in seat. The two emperors meet on a raft in the middle of the Niemen River. It is symbolic, on no one's territory. Alexander is young, handsome, charming. You spend a few days together. You talk for hours. Alexander's enchanted by you. He calls you a great man. You divide Europe like two old friends divide a map of the world. You look at him and think he is weak. He is too kind for politics. Someday, this will be a problem. The problem will come, but not soon. Now you are at the top. Europe is at your feet. Your personal life is changing, too. Josephine, your love, your passion cannot bear you an heir. This is a political disaster. The empire needs a successor. You make the hardest decision in your personal life. You divorced Josephine. They say that on the day the divorce was announced, you cried. 3 who never cried. You marry Marie-Louise of Austria, the daughter of your defeated enemy. In 1811, she gives birth to your son, Napoleon II, the King of Rome, your heir, your hope, your immortality. You hold him in your arms, and for the first time in your life, you do not think about the war. The year is 1813. Europe is in revolt. Russia, Prussia, Austria, Sweden, England, all have united against you. You are still fighting. You are still winning isolated battles at Lutzen, at Botzen, at Dresden. Your military genius is still there, but you no longer have that army, those veterans who went through Italy and Austerlitz with you. Instead, you have young recruits, 17-year-old boys. You yourself call them Marie-Louise, after your wife. They are brave, but they do not know how to fight as those others did. October 1813, Leipzig, Battle of the Nations. You have 300,000 soldiers from all over Europe against you. You have 190,000. 3 days of fighting. You are losing. The retreat through Leipzig turns into a disaster. The bridge is blown up prematurely. 20,000 of your soldiers remain on the other bank. France is open to invasion. Winter 1814. The enemy is entering France. You defend every inch of your homeland. This could be your most brilliant campaign, tactically speaking. With a handful of soldiers, you fight 6 battles in 6 days and win each one. But the enemy is too numerous. Resources are exhausted. Your marshals are tired. They want peace. They betray you. On March 31st, 1814, the Allied forces enter Paris. You learn of this at Fontainebleau. You are ready to fight to the end. You offer the marshals to go and recapture the capital. The marshals refuse, one after another. Nay, Berthier, MacDonald, the men to whom you gave everything, rank, wealth, glory. They tell you, it's all over. You sign your abdication. They say that night you took poison, a mixture you had been carrying with you since the Egyptian campaign in case of capture. The poison had no effect. Over the years, it had lost its potency. Did you survive? Or did fate give you another chance? You are sent to the island of Elba in the Mediterranean. Small, warm, beautiful. A prison without bars. You are left with the title of emperor, but the island is the size of a small town. You are given a small army, 1,000 men, to build up your self-esteem. The monarchs of Europe think you are finished. They don't know you at all. You live on Elba for 10 months. You watch, you listen. News comes from France. Bad news. The Bourbons have returned, stupid, arrogant, having learned nothing. The soldiers who fought for France receive beggarly pensions. The common people remember you with longing. February 1815, night. You board a ship with 1,000 soldiers. Course, France. This is madness. All of Europe and the French Royal Army are against you. 1,000 against 1,000,000. But you know the people, you know your soldiers. You land in the south of France and walk to Paris. A battalion of the king's soldiers approaches you. They are to arrest you or kill you. You approach them alone, unarmed. At gunpoint, you stop. You unbutton your uniform, expose your chest, and say, "Soldiers of the 5th Regiment, do you recognize me? Whoever wants to shoot their emperor, let them do so." Silence. Then one soldier throws down his gun, a second, a third, and the whole battalion shouts, "Long live the emperor!" You move on. Every city greets you with flowers. The marshals who betrayed you go over to your side again. King Louis flees Paris at night in panic. March 20, 1815, you enter the Tuileries. They carry you on hands for literally 100 days. That's all you have left. Europe is uniting again. The 700,000 soldiers are marching on the borders of France. You have 120,000. And no allies. You decide to attack first, to beat the enemy piecemeal before they unite. Belgium, June 1815, first, the lines. You beat the Prussians. Victory. Tomorrow you will finish off the British under Wellington. June 18th, Waterloo. In the morning you are confident of victory. The army is in good order. The positions are good, but you begin the attack later than usual. Because of the damp ground after the rain, the guns move poorly. This delay is worth everything. All day long, your troops attack Wellington's positions. Again and again. Bravely, furiously. The English hold out. By evening, you have almost won. One more blow, and they will break. And at that moment, the banners of the Prussian army appear on the horizon, the same one you defeated 2 days ago. It managed to gather itself and came to Wellington's aid. Your army is attacked from 2 sides. Panic spreads through the ranks. The old guard, your best soldiers, stands in square and perishes. Every last man. They do not retreat. The guard dies, but does not surrender. The army crumbles. It is all over. June 22, 1815, you sign a second abdication, this time forever. The island of St. Helena, in the South Atlantic, 2,000 kilometers from the nearest shore, is the loneliest place on Earth. You will spend 6 years there. A damp climate, a small house, constant surveillance. You write memoirs, dictate recollections. You deliberately create your legend. You want posterity to remember you as you wanted to be. A defender of the revolution, a builder of a new Europe, a victim of reaction. May 5, 1821, you are 51 years old. This is not old age, but you are exhausted, ill, broken physically, but not spiritually. Your last words, recorded by a doctor, France, the army, the vanguard, then silence. A little boy from Corsica, called an outsider who read books about great generals alone who took the crown from the Pope's hands and put it on himself, dies alone on an island in the middle of the ocean. Island in the middle of the ocean. But his name will outlive all who put him there. His laws will work in 200 years. His tactics will be studied in the military academies around the world. More books will be written about him than about any other person in history. Only more has been written about Jesus Christ. You are Napoleon Bonaparte, and this has been your whole life.